Live across the world.
We are indeed John H. Pierre. We are live across the YouTubes and the world. Diddling. This is Thomas Metal 75, the Massachusetts channel of YouTube, and this is your Massachusetts Beer Reviews and Company Beer Review. Today we are doing our Wednesday night examination, and our examination is on tall beers. And here joins us live is William Kepley, and for purposes of today's discussion, a tall beer is any can or bottle that at least comes in minimally either a 16 or an 18-ounce size and above.
Okay, good.
So we allow you to bring your best tall boy you have, whether it's a 40-ounce, 32-ounce quart bottle, 24-ounce can, or even an 18 or 16-ounce can. So we have from left to right, John Henderson, John H. Pierre, the TV Rambler from Mobile, Alabama.
Good evening, everybody.
John Anele. He is a beer YouTube contributor from the state of Georgia. Michael Kormaroff. He is another beer YouTube community contributor. He's been on this channel on the Wednesdays for a little while now. He's from Brooklyn, New York. Jay Theriault, Louisiana Beer Reviews, Louisiana. We got William Kepley, and from this North Carolina.
Oh, right.
Right.
All right, there we go. Almost at South. And
Near South.
75. Yep. So
All
I'm gonna go pull the chat out here for the review, but let's start from left to right. John, what are you bringing to the discussion this evening?
Well, tonight, I never thought I would see this beer in my town. I was got off work, and I said, well, you know what? I didn't really get the beers for tonight, and I said, you know what? I'm in the area. I'm driving through, and there's Mad Dog's right over here, and yeah, Mad Dog's party spot. And I walk in, and I just nearly had a heart attack, and I never thought I would see this beer down here in this area. And tonight, I got.
Oh, boy.
Jenny Ice, 5.5%. I bought two of these.
All right.
I had that.
That's what I'm talking about.
Remember that, John and I had that last Friday off air after Tyler Mansell's. What did he review? We were reviewing some kind of a beer, and I had that off air. And all right, you're going to tell us all about that.
Well,
Sierra Nevada beers. That's what we did, right?
Let me say something real fast.
Go right ahead.
Jean-Pierre is no longer the TV Rambler. He's only the beer Rambler.
All right. Good to know.
Thank you, Jay.
So, John Anele, what do you have for the discussion this evening?
All right. Can you?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I got off work late. I didn't have time to go pick anything up, so I went with what I had in the fridge already. I got the King Cobra malt liquor.
Yes.
That's a tall beer. There you go.
Yes.
And that's 6%. Is that right, John and Jay?
Yeah. 6% in 1984.
Don't let the smooth taste fool you, King Cobra.
All right. Excellent. Michael Kormaroff, explain your beer.
Okay.
People.
It's from Maine.
16 ounces.
From Peak, and it's called The Juice.
Peak
it's
Organic.
It's actually brewed at Shipyard.
Oh.
Ooh.
That I didn't know about that. All right.
Yep. And
Gotcha.
what they say on the front, it's a wicked dried hop pale ale.
I'd agree with that assessment thus far. I've had it before, and it's great.
If I remember right, it's 6.4%.
I believe you're right. Definitely New England in theme there, not even just by it being in Maine, but in its taste. But we'll get to that when we get back to Michael Kormaroff. Jay Theriault, Louisiana Beer Reviews, what do you have this evening?
I have a 16-ounce pint can of Hurricane High Gravity malt liquor.
Woo! What you know about that?
What you know about that? You heard me?
Label out.
Label out.
All right. Excellent.
Jay, is that 6% also?
No, it's actually 8.1%.
That's a big one.
What you got? What you know about that? But what do you have for the discussion? William Kepley in North Carolina.
I'll give you a hint. You might know this. If
Okay.
you guess this, you'll probably guess the beer. The nickname for a Red Sox pitcher during the 1980s.
The Rocket.
The Spaceman.
You're
The
getting
Rocket.
close.
The
You got
Rocket. Roger Clemens.
The El Tiante beer. I don't know. Wow.
Oil Can Boyd.
Oh, you got a tall boy of some Foster's. The blue can.
All right. The oil can.
Made
Oil
with,
Can Boyd. Duh. All right.
made with Pride of Ringwood hops.
At Oil Can Breweries, probably in New York, not Australia.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, that is now brewed in Canada,
No.
or that's brewed in St. Louis.
No.
Where is
They-
it? For,
It's either they got
I'll
Oil
tell you
Can
where it's brewed.
Breweries.
I'll look on here.
I think it's either New York State or in Texas.
that's owned by Miller.
Texas.
Okay.
I
Okay,
don't know.
I'll tell you, it's owned by Anheuser-Busch, and it's brewed all over the world, actually.
Yep.
Fort Worth,
It's not
Texas.
owned by Anheuser-Busch here. This is Molson Coors got the holdings for United States.
That's right.
for it.
Okay.
But it has international. I mean, it's brewed by a lot of different people under license. Heineken in Europe. So it has you need a scorecard to keep up with Foster's.
Right. But
William, what's the ABV?
5 even.
5 even.
Yeah, I had that. What was it? Monday night. You know, it was my first weekend having a beer. first day having a beer, being laid up at home. So I said, "Hey, I pick up a Foster's. I had one on Monday, so it was pretty good."
So let's talk about another international beer. Just like Foster's, it has nothing to do with the United States or Canada, but mine was brewed in Canada under supervision, brewed and canned under supervision by Molson Canada, under Asahi's supervision in Molson Canada at Toronto. This is Asahi or Acai Dry.
Very good beer.
I haven't
Enjoyed
seen that can design, but I like that beer.
Me too.
This has a funky lot code, so I don't know what it means, but it's a 24-ounce can. And unless somebody knows on the panel off the top of their head, the can actually doesn't tell me what the ABV is.
5.
But it's probably, 5%.
And Asahi owns. Well, I'll get back to that. They're part of some big conglomerate. Yeah.
It is 5% alcohol by volume.
See.
So there you go.
And I'm just giving
If I
everybody
take
the look of. I'm giving everybody the look of my dry hop pale ale. It's like very juicy looking.
Boy, that's nice looking.
It's got that haze for
Yeah,
days, as we call it.
it looks like a New England IPA is what it looks like.
And you're going to taste that in it, too. What's that? No music.
that was my phone. Go ahead, guys.
Anyways.
Eric, is anybody else expected to come tonight? Michael Jennings or Eric from Detroit or anybody else?
I invited those folks, and I have sent them the links, and I haven't seen them.
Okay. All right. Tyler's working.
He's got to work. Yeah.
He does that. All right, so let's go left to right as we did. Let's start with John H. Pierre. Get into your beer with us here, John.
He just put his.
Oh God! All right. Wait a minute. He's coming back. Is he coming back? Are we gonna have to skip him? We'll come back to you. All right. See you later. Okay, John Anele. Let's see the color of your beer and give us the rundown of your beer. John Anele.
John, when John comes in, I've never even heard of King Cobra.
What?
Oh, it's been on the market for 34 years.
But it just shows you I don't dabble in that subset of beer, so I wouldn't know it.
I think that John Anele. Hold on, everybody. Time out. I think John Anele has crashed or something.
So do you want Jay to go?
Yeah,
want me to
Jay.
I'll go. And,
Yeah, go.
And I think my connection is not going to get messed up this time. I know what I was doing wrong in the past. Now, the reason I picked this adjunct Helles Doppelbock is because, and that's what the style would be for this high gravity malt liquor, an adjunct Helles Doppelbock. Oh, it's on now.
Yeah. By that
It's
you mean
Lance
malt
the
liquor.
Lush.
Hey, everybody.
He's got a big beer. All right, and we'll get back to you. You're next. We'll talk to you next. But Jay is going to describe Hurricane High Gravity Malt Liquor.
It's on now. All right. Well, this American adjunct Helles Doppelbock is pretty deep burnished gold. It's not just yellow fizzy stuff, it's gold fizzy stuff. It's got a lot of calories, so if you're on a diet, I wouldn't recommend it. It's got a lot of alcohol, so if you're weak to alcohol, I wouldn't recommend it. It's a little too strong for me, honestly, but my friend and myself, David and myself, he's got the big beard. I brought it to him, and he had never tried it, so we reviewed it last week, and he didn't, totally adore it, but he did give it a B, so he thought it was good, a straight B, like 85 out of 100. And the reason I picked this is because it was the tall can that I happen to have in the fridge. I didn't have any other tall cans, so it worked out perfectly. I'm enjoying it. It's nice to have about 2 or 3 times a year.
John Anele is back, everybody.
Yeah, sorry about that.
John, you're on your side, but I guess you'll come back.
There he goes.
I'm trying to think. I'm on my phone again. I'm still trying to figure out the internet at my new place here.
Phone sounds great, and you look.
John, since
Okay.
you left, Lance has joined.
Okay. Hey, Lance.
Hello.
All right, Jay, we'll return to Hurricane High Gravity Lager.
Well, I got it for $4.69 for a 4-pack. Okay.
Wow.
So that's not too bad. I can get some other stuff cheaper though. And well, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It's not just a run-of-the-mill regular beer. Maybe it's a run-of-the-mill malt liquor. I don't know, but they say on the website for this product, they say it's a high-end malt liquor. You see, so this is a high-end malt liquor. This is just not for your normal quaffers. This is for your more refined quaffers.
Oh.
It's one of, I would agree, it is, of all the high gravity, it is the one that I usually tend to get more often because it's just as well done. And knowing you have Anheuser-Busch behind it, and I know how everybody feels about AB InBev, but they put out, that's probably one of the top of the line high gravity, Helles Doppelbock.
Right.
And they also, and you're right, and they use corn and rice as an adjunct, not just one or the other, corn and rice. So, I mean, like I said, it's a little too strong for me, but that's me, not the beer. I'm admittedly weak. So.
Yeah. We have Bart Robinson live on the chat. Hello again, sir.
Oh, right.
He says, good evening, fellas. Got my hands on a 40-ounce bottle of Country Club malt liquor and I found for the first time today Schlitz Red Bull. Looking forward to trying it tomorrow. Cheers. And cheers to you, Bart Robinson.
I cannot get the Red Bull when I was up in Jersey. I don't know why.
All right, so
XL.
we'll let Jay sip on that beer throughout the examination, and we'll get back to him on his thoughts in a little bit. So, Lance the Lush, I think you have a beer that fits the topic tonight. Which beer is that?
Yes, I do. Direct from the Plank Row Brewery, we got Ice House because I got off work way too late tonight. I had to get something for the chat.
There you go.
Belated happy birthday, Lance, my fellow Aquarius brother.
Thank you.
Cheers. What's the ABV if you know there on that beer, Lance?
Lance, does Ice House still made by Miller?
Mm-hmm.
It says Milwaukee, Wisconsin, so I'm assuming it is.
And what's the ABV on that?
The state's right on the can, 5.5%.
There you go, Michael Komaroff. He takes notes.
I got it.
All right, William Kepley, what you got this evening? Oh, you already told us what you got this evening.
Right.
Well, let him describe it.
Yeah, describe your beer and all good things with the
Uh,
Fosters.
I hadn't had this until recently when a supermarket had a sale 2 for $3. So I picked up 2 cans of it. I drank the first one, and maybe it was an issue of low expectations, but it was much better than I had anticipated. 5% ABV. I thought it had a pretty good balance of the maltiness and the hot bitterness. I was actually quite surprised that this is it gets slagged on a lot. That said it. Even people in Australia don't like it, and it gets poor reviews on Beer Advocate and the Rate Beer, not surprisingly. But for an adjunct lager, I think it's pretty good. I would get it again. I also got 2 cans of the premium ale. I drank one of those. And there is a trait that runs through both of these, and maybe it's the Ringwood, the hops. There's a certain something that's hard for me to describe, a little bit unique or different about these products, although they're pretty run-of-the-mill for styles.
Yeah.
And there's something about maybe that the oil they use in the Ringwood hops that gives it a little bit of distinctive character, a little bit of distinctive flavor. It runs through both the premium ale and the lager also, which adds to a little bit element extra for it. But I would get it again. And like I said, maybe it was a case of low expectations, but I think it's pretty good for an adjunct lager.
And the premium ale, when it first started being sold in the United States, it was called Foster's Premium Bitters, and that's the original name, but they changed it to premium ale because I think Miller was worried that Americans would not understand what that meant, premium bitters.
Right.
So because it was really like an ESB,
Mm-hmm.
But I've seen old bottles of the Australian brewed Foster's Premium Bitter, and that might still be made with that logo or labeled. But it's an old brand, 5.5% alcohol. It'll knock you down if you play around with it.
Here has a nice golden color.
I think so too.
It's not the quote unquote pissy yellow that's described as many of these styles. So I think it hangs pretty well with an adjunct lager.
Now it doesn't taste like urine.
Disclaimer: I have never tried urine.
Right, because I'm just asking because a lot of the written reviews will.
Right. I will go out on a limb and say that I do not think this tastes like human or any other animal urine. I think that's safe to say. And if anybody would like to do a challenge, I'll provide the urine.
No, thank you. But that beer is more readily available than the premium ale. Would you agree? I mean, everybody can get Foster's just about anywhere.
In my area,
the premium ale, the green can is very hard to come by.
No, it's not here anymore. They run side by side.
I agree.
Not in my area. I can't get the green can. I see more of the blue than the green.
Oh.
Yeah,
I can get both of them here in New York.
I don't know what Michael thinks about premium bitters though, but he might like it. I don't know.
You probably would.
It's not one I dislike.
So
it's not on my dislike list. It's on my average list.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, we'll let William Kepley, just like with the other panelists, we'll let him sip on that beer during the discussion. We'll get back to you, William, for your final thoughts on the beer towards the end of the review.
Okay.
And examination. But as I said, since I look like I'm next in line, then we're going to go to Jean. I have the Asahi Super Dry, or just Asahi Dry. They say it's the beer for all seasons. Asahi beer is brewed from quality ingredients, excellent richness, refreshing, and satin smoothness. All year round, you can enjoy the great taste of Asahi beer. If I pour a little bit more into a Pilsner glass, just to get some amount of head forming, it's a very, very, very light straw golden color. You can see my face in there, my large forehead in the glass right there. And it does have a bright white head. And there's a little bit, I don't even know if you can see that. You can probably see that one thing over here. There's like some kind of floaties some kind of sediment in the beer that might disturb some people, but I don't know if but it's generally pretty filtered. They talk about it's 5.0% alcohol by volume. And all they really, they talk about the yeast and the technology that they use to brew the beer on the Asahi Beer website, and the taste, and the yeast. But what they say about the ingredients is that they use a malted barley from an exclusive network of grain suppliers around the world, based upon precisely detailed criteria, whatever that means. And all they say about the hopping in the beer is hops of the highest quality give Asahi Super Dry an elegant touch of bitterness. So, they kind of leave it up to the imagination what it's.
That sounds like creative marketing to me.
Yeah, the whole website looks like a PowerPoint slide, if I'm completely honest. But the smell on the beer, well, the look, we talked about the look. So the smell, I think they're using rice and corn, if I'm not mistaken, both.
No, only rice.
I've heard a lot of different things, but I would assume going into this being Japan's.
It doesn't have that malt character when I reviewed Asahi.
It doesn't
at all.
It doesn't. It has a little bit of your stereotypical white bready note to it. There's a lot of grains, though. There's a lot of grains, and it does remind me more like a Budweiser that does have the grains in it. It's not quite as super sweet and grainy as a Budweiser is, but it's like a lighter. It's like a beefier version of Bud Light, but not quite as heavy in the body of the nose as a Budweiser. So if you smell both of those beers, you're just getting a lighter version of the Budweiser, but an amped up version of a Bud Light in its smell, really.
Hey, Asahi is so perfect for to pair it with teriyaki chicken or
Shrimp lo mein.
Or tempura shrimp. And I have a can over here of a Mimic beer that Pabst made back in the 1990s, trying to copyright violate the Asahi can, if you want to see it.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. But the beer is definitely reminding me, as Jay is happy to tell us, that it isn't all it's all rice for the adjunct and not any corn. It definitely has that rice characteristic to it. It's definitely got that rice lager drying sensation about it.
Here's the Olympia Dry, and they tried to make the can look like the Asahi can, even because some Asahi cans have that tapered can you can get.
Right.
Not that cylindrical one you have, but the one that's tapered at the bottom.
I've seen that one, yep. And
the Olympia Dry tried to basically mimic the silver with the black and red trim. And I bought this in Baton Rouge, Louisiana in 1998, and it tasted very similar to Asahi. And all of a sudden, you never saw it again. So they might have told Pabst, "You want to go to court?" And they said, "No, we'll drop it."
Yeah. But yeah, there's definitely the dryness that's coming from the rice. It's an extremely dry beer, as they say. It's not cottonmouth dry, but it's pretty dry. There's a light, to me, it's like a light lemony, very light lemony sweetness underneath it. I'm definitely getting some paperiness in the background from the kind of the grains and the barley malt that they're using. There's definitely light amounts of white bread. Definitely very watery, very crisp, clean. It's extremely refreshing.
And Eric, I think it is just like their website saying, they are using a scientific approach. They are sourcing the top stuff for that beer, because that beer has been around at a pinpoint production presentation for like 100 years.
Yeah.
I think it changes.
Yeah, I think what's great about this beer, when we think of a typical rice beer, the typical ones, at least for us Americans and maybe even the Canadians, to think about really popular rice beers, there's Asahi Dry, right? There's Sapporo, there's Kirin Ichiban, and even Budweiser is a pretty well-known rice beer around the world. And I think that Budweiser is by far much more sweet and much more grainy than this. This is a much softer mouthfeel, less grainy. It's more about its, like it says, dry characteristics, but it has the grains in it. It has the paperiness in it. It has the very light body that you would expect from a beer like this. And just like in the nose, it definitely reminds me of a less full, it's less full than Budweiser, but it's right in the middle between Budweiser and Bud Light in its body.
Eric, there's your topic. There's your topic. Rice beers.
And probably least expensive versus, you know, the others, you know, Budweiser.
There's your topic, right?
Kirin Ichiban and whatnot.
Oh, I love Kirin Ichiban and Sapporo. Oh, Eric, let me say 2 more things. I'm not going to keep
Sure.
talking.
That's all right.
2 or 3 more hours and I'm going to show. No, I swear I'm not going to stay up late. You ever tried the Asahi Amber or the Asahi Koronami?
I don't think I have. I don't believe so.
Yeah, there's a black beer called the Koronami, and there's the Amber. Yeah, there's something else. But
I've definitely heard of the Asahi Black, and I've never seen it in any stores, but I'll have to look for that. That would be good.
Very difficult to find.
But yeah, just to end that until we get back to me at the final end of this beer, just like I was saying, it's definitely doesn't have as big of a body as Budweiser, but it's definitely a heftier beer than Bud Light. So I think Asahi Dry fits within its mouthfeel and its body, fits right in between those 2 beers perfectly. So I'm going to sip on this 24-ounce can in my Pilsner glass, and then we'll get back to everybody else, including me, for a final thought and grade on that. But now we're going to go full circle back to the beginning with.
Wait. What about
You have another question?
what?
You have another question? Go ahead.
I was saying, wait, what about Lance? He's got to tell us about Ice House. But what, Michael?
No, I have to do mine too.
And Michael has to do his.
And I don't think I've gone yet either, guys.
That's why we're gonna go right back to. We're gonna go to the Jay. You just left, but we're going back to the beginning. And then we'll get to everybody else. John H. Pierre, let's hear about your beer.
Hey guys, can you see me at all? Can you hear me?
Yes, and yes.
All right. Okay. For whatever reason, I'm looking at my face and I'm frozen, so I don't know what the F is going on. So
You're active and live.
okay. As far as Genesee Ice is concerned, yes. Came out in 1993. May not be popular in terms of the well-known ice beers like Ice House, Bud Ice, which came out in 95, Natural Ice, Busch.
John, what the F?
John didn't
But he's
drift
using
out.
Blackout.
He's using a Radio Shack Tandy 2000 computer from 1980, so it does do that. He's wrong because Bud Ice was 94, but that's okay.
Anyways, we'll come back to John with his Genesee Ice. All right, John and Nele, give us the laydown of your beer this evening.
All right. So the King Cobra malt liquor, 6%. Very clean. It poured with like a 2-finger head, which quickly dissipated. It's very clear, super filtered. It's got a very clean aroma to it. You don't really pick up much, just a very clean smell. Maybe a little bit of sweetness in there, but not much to the aroma.
John, what happened? Explain
I don't
yourself
know.
quickly.
It's just primitive internet service. So, John, go ahead, finish your review, and then I'll go back and do mine.
All right. So in the taste, you get a lot of you just get a really clean taste. Some sweetness up front. It's light to medium bodied. At 6% ABV, this is very smooth. You would never guess that this is a 6% ABV beer. Don't let the smooth taste fool you. I agree 100% with that. This is definitely a very smooth product. It finishes very clean, very dry as well. Probably not as dry as the Asahi Super Dry, but it definitely has a very dry finish. It's very refreshing. I had mine in the freezer for about 20 minutes before this hangout started, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. And I do think that I was never able to get it in the bottles.
Yeah.
Moved here. I could only get it
Glass
in.
bottle?
Yeah, glass bottle.
That's almost non-existent here where I live anymore.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if Anheuser-Busch, maybe Jay can tell me if I'm wrong. I don't know that Anheuser-Busch actually went to the plastic bottles. I thought it was only, maybe it was Miller Brewing Company. Is that right, Jay?
Yes, that's right. Only Miller. Anheuser-Busch always stuck with glass.
There you go. Classing it up just a little bit.
They got more money.
Yeah, I guess. So
King Cobra is a jewel. That beer, and King Cobra really is the king of this town where I live.
dynamite.
It has actually won 3 bronze medals at the Great American Beer Festival. Not any recently, I don't believe, but in the late 80s and early 90s, it won bronze medals at the Great American Beer Festival. So it's obviously doing something right.
Oh, and
Excellent.
John, you want to hear something funny?
What's
I was
that?
talking about all those medals that malt liquors have won at the Great American Beer Festival and World Beer Cup. And somebody told me, he says, that doesn't count because they only judge malt liquors against other malt liquors.
Well, true. That's kind of true in a way. It's true in a way, but it's still an award-winning beer by judges.
That's like
Well,
saying-
it wouldn't be fair if you judged it against non-malt liquor products. It'd be like judging a
Yes.
Ron, I think you've said this in some of your videos. Like you're comparing a I don't know, like a Lincoln Navigator to a
Camaro.
like a Camaro to
To
a
a smart
Ford.
car.
With a Navigator to maybe a Ford Ranger.
No, but when it's funny because when people make that contention, they totally
Yeah.
invalidate their whole argument.
Right. But we're gonna I think we should let, just like everybody else, we should let John Anile sip on that beer and think about that. And again, we'll get back to him at the very end for his final thoughts and ratings.
Let
But
me.
because of the blackout, we'll go back to
Okay.
John H. Pierre.
Okay, real quick, guys. Like I said, of the ice beers, Genesee Ice and maybe Old Milwaukee Ice don't get much love as the ones that we all know. Some would say that the ice beer started with Labette Ice. They say they had the patent, and then Molson said, no, we started first, but whatever. Ice beers have been around since the early mid-90s. This beer came out supposedly, they say, in 1993.
Jay says 94.
94.
Oh,
So
no, I
late
said-
93, 94. So it's a real, yeah.
Oh, Bud Ice. There you go.
Bud Ice came out, Ice House came out in 94. Bud Ice came out in 95.
Wait.
Oh, you're gonna tempt the history guy to get you wrong.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Jay.
Bud Ice came out in 94 and Ice House came out in 93. And
Okay.
I think the first ice beer was like Molson Ice. And wasn't one of them like in 1989? But anyway,
Labette says they had the patent and they say they started it first. So, you know.
that, yeah.
So, but
Crazy Canucks with their ice.
exactly. But Genesee Ice doesn't really get much support, doesn't really get much love in the beer community for whatever the reason. And but anyway, a very enjoyable ice beer, very smooth, easy drinking. For whatever the reason lately, I'm starting to see this at that one spot, Mad Dog's party spot, and I'm saying to myself, damn, why are we getting Genesee Ice here all of a sudden?
Mad Dog's party spot.
Mad Dog's party spot. Yes, he sells cigars too, and spirits and everything else. So
Every some king here in town.
yes. So, but the ABV originally was at 5.9, and all of a sudden now I'm seeing this right now. My can says 5.5. So I don't know if they decided to lower the ABV for whatever the reason why, I don't know. But anyway, like I said, doesn't get much love in terms of the ice beers, but it's a very enjoyable ice beer. Smooth, very easy drinking. It's not as hoppy, and in fact, it's actually, it has some sort of, I don't know, it has like a little grass note to it that I'm kind of sipping on. It's like, really, Genesee Ice doesn't do that. The one I tried the first time, it didn't have that. But for the second time, I'm like, this is
Now, Joe, I got to be
different
honest.
taste to this. So
Joe, I got to be honest with you. My impression of Genesee Ice is that it is, and don't unfriend me, please. It is a little bit of a step down from your big four ice beers, and that's just the way I feel about it.
right,
Agreed, big time.
I think Pabst, I think Anheuser-Busch, Pabst, Miller, and Coors. Well, Miller, Coors is the same company. I think they tend to make a little better ice beer than Genesee. That's just the way I feel about it. Like if you get the old Milwaukee Ice, which you'll never see it in Mobile, and I'll never see here.
Only time I saw it was in Atlanta when I was coming back visiting my folks for Christmas, and 2015 I bought it. I was like, damn, old Milwaukee Ice. Let me get this can.
Genesee Ice is Genesee Ice is okay, but I like the Genesee 12 horse ale, which you can't get anymore, and I like the Genesee cream ale, of course. That's like the classic cream ale, right? But
yes,
other Genesee beers tend to be kind of
Genesee lager and the light.
Yeah. So
kind of like substandard, but sorry, that's just the way I feel about it.
Once again, we'll let John H. Pierre sip on his beer, and we'll get back to him for final thoughts and grades later on. Finally, we're to Michael Kormaroff and the Peak Organic Juice.
Okay, so if anybody hasn't seen this, I will show it one more time. That's what the can looks like. It's a 16-ounce can.
I've had that numerous times. That's a good beer.
It's brewed in Maine at Shipyard Brewing by Peak Organic.
I believe that is in Portland, Maine, Peak Organic.
Portland. I said 6.4. It's actually 5.6.
Oh, okay.
ABV is.
Reversed.
Kind of a reversal.
Yep.
Let's see. When you smell it, you get a lot of the different citrus flavors. Orange, pineapple, grapefruit. Like a combination of citrus. And I'll take a sip.
Cheers.
The first thing you get in the taste is kind of like a grapefruit, but it's a grapefruit zest kind of flavor, and kind of a mild bitterness. Again, it's maybe more pale ale bitterness. It's not like an IPA. It's not super bitter. It's kind of like just average bitter, but it's bitter. Definitely more bitter than typical pale ale. So maybe the dry hopping does have some effect in that way also.
Michael, what'd you say the IBUs on that beer are?
They don't give it.
Oh, okay.
What's the price?
I got it at my food co-op really cheap, but I would assume the price would be like, it comes in a 4-pack, and I assume the 4-pack would normally cost like $5, $4.99.
That's not bad.
They typically, that beer typically comes in a 4-pack where I'm at in the 12-ounce cans, and it might be around $12 or $13 for that 4-pack.
Wow.
Or not 12-ounce cans, the 16-ounce cans that you have there, Michael.
But
John Walker,
what's up?
Oh boy, it's about to get so real now.
Yeah.
I didn't know about this. Eric sent me the link. I was about to buy a 40 a Colt on the way home today. I was this close. I was feeling a little gangster, and I was like, nah.
And I'm so disappointed that you did not.
No,
What? Anyhow,
I don't know why. I was just like, I'll get another time.
but what else? What else do you have to say about the juice from Peak Organic there, Michael Kormaroff?
I mean, on the finish, you get a similar dryness to a lot of other pale ales, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
A drying finish.
And you've had that one before?
Yes, I've had it before.
So you kind of have an idea of where your overall thoughts and opinions are with that.
Would you like me to rate it? I'll rate it now if you want.
We'll come back to the sip on that, and we'll come back to the rating.
Fine.
We'll get to John Walker in a brief moment. But Lance DeLush, talk us through a non-glassed version, just in the can, of Ice House.
Yeah, I forgot you forgot about me altogether there.
No, we're coming to you, boy. Well, here we are.
All right, now the
Man.
one thing, now obviously Ice House been around for a long time. We all know that. Now the one thing I do notice, this is with any ice beer, when it's ice cold, like this can in particular, it's very, very smooth. You can't let it warm up or you're screwed.
No, you
I mean, I think we all can agree with that. There might be one or two lone exceptions out there.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, ice. Ice melts, so you want to keep it cold. Ice House.
Ice, baby.
Yeah,
Yeah,
their whole focus is on coldness, right, Lance?
Yes, it is. That's why ice is in the name. Now, I will say this. It is
emergency.
it is very smooth. Now, this is something to where, honestly, if you look at it from a mass market standpoint, it's at the bottom of the barrel. I mean, I got this can for 89 cents.
Cool.
Yes. Check your local Circle K. It's probably in there for right around the same price. But it's
Damn. Good price.
Yeah, so it's like I said, I got to pick something up quick. But it's I mean, it's really not that bad. I just don't recommend drinking 5, 6 at a shot.
Oh, 5 of those cans? Yeah, no.
I got one more can. I might drink half of it and fall asleep.
How much did you pay for that one?
I beg your pardon?
How much did you pay for that?
89 cents.
They sold that at cost.
What does it have a lot code or some kind of dating on the bottom of that can, Lance?
I guess looking at it on the side. Let's see. There's 2 dates on here. Let's see here. I got a drink before date, which is July of 2018.
That seems pretty fresh.
That's so fresh. That thing was just brewed.
Yeah, there you go.
Or just lagered. I mean.
So it wasn't. So I asked that because I was curious as to if the price was some kind of liquidation and they're trying to get rid of it.
Well,
no, that's fresh.
I got 2 different sets of codes on here, though. That's the thing. And you taught me how to read a code one time. I got a DO811656 code on the bottom.
D is Thursday. D is brewed on Thursday.
Go
08 is Trenton, Ohio. That's where it was.
I mean, I got a code on the side just above the barcode. So it says 7/12/30 A4WR. So I don't know what that means.
William's right though. William can tell you it's Thursday, Trenton, Ohio.
There you go.
To you, Lance.
All right. What else do you have to say about Ice House? Anything immediately, or can we move on to John Walker? How about?
But Eric, can I say something about Ice House?
You certainly can, but yeah, go ahead.
It only take me 27 seconds.
Go ahead.
My neighbor across the street, who cooks good food for me sometimes. We've been living across the street from each other for 27 years.
Nice.
26 years. She loves Ice House. About 3 times a year, April, August, and December, I buy her a 12-pack of Ice House. It costs $7.99 for a 12-pack of bottles. I don't know if y'all get bottles of Ice House.
I've never seen those.
Yeah, a 12-pack of 12-ounce bottles, and I buy them for her, and she says, "Oh man, I love that beer. That's really good." One time I bought her a Samuel Adams 6-pack, and she said, "That stuff's okay. Could you just buy the Ice House for now on?"
Wow. Uh-oh.
True story.
Lights.
True story.
Yeah. I want to hear from the new panelists that showed up this evening. Not new to most of us that are probably watching and even here on the panel, but John Walker, what do you have this evening and what are you sharing?
My friend left a 6-pack of Bell's Too Hard in my apartment, so I'm like, my pleasure.
Well, that's not really a tall beer, but I want to hear about that. I don't have
anything to call tonight.
I want to hear about that. I wanted to try that.
No, I can down a 40 a Colt in like 2 minutes. Come on.
I've never had that beer, and I'm curious about that.
It's all right. Can you get it in Massachusetts?
No, Bell's does not distribute into New England.
No, oh, this? I thought about Colt 45.
No, we totally get Colt 45, but no Bell's beer.
Where I said I thought I saw a Colt 45 or two on the side of the road in Boston.
Probably. Oh man.
Everybody can get Colt 45 anywhere around in the United States.
Around the world. Yeah,
it's the malt liquor. It's the malt liquor with the dynamite taste.
Yeah, you know, Bell's is one of the most
works every time.
Works every time.
Really?
We get Bell's in New York.
Really? Wow. All right. Damn.
Can not everyone get bottles of Ice House?
Of course. Not everybody, no.
No. We used to get bottles here in 12-pack bottles, but now it's all in cans.
We get 18s still. And they sell it crazy over here.
Yeah, we get those 18-ounce brown bottles. Yep.
We have Bart.
No, 18-pack, 12-ounce.
We have Bart Robinson on the chat.
Oh, 18-pack.
Bart
Yeah,
Robinson's
sale too, and Food Lines. They run sales on them and everything.
Bart Robinson says, "I'm lucky to get Old Milwaukee Ice nearby. Probably my favorite ice beer and quite a bargain, but I still love them all."
I had that.
there you
It's
go.
actually really good.
Oh, Old Milwaukee
99
Ice.
cents.
I could do a 10-hour video on that.
Well,
That is-
I think we all want to hear, and I think the people watching around the world want to hear a little bit of your description on some Bell's Two Hearted Ale.
Oh,
we do. I want to hear about this.
It's an American IPA made with 100% Centennial hops.
Yeah.
And it's named after the Two Hearted River in the UP of Michigan. It's I don't know. It's kind
Are
of
you sure it's an IPA, John?
It's an American IPA.
It's guaranteed an IPA, John.
If it's
Okay.
it's gotta be an IPA.
Okay.
Can you backwards read that?
Yes, actually, it looked correct.
It's very pleasant. It's not overly bitter, which I like about it. It's very drinkable. You can drink 4 of these and not realize you just drank 4 beers. I love it. So, I mean, it'll
I've
hit
had
you
the Two Hearted, so I thought it was good, but I never knew it was an IPA. So I just
Yeah.
maybe a pale ale, I guess.
What's the ABV on that?
Nothing too crazy. I think it's 7% alcohol.
Wow, and you don't even realize you're drinking 7? Wow.
Yeah, it's definitely a solid. I mean, I love this.
That's dangerous if you don't realize you're drinking a 7.
Yeah.
It has like a prickly hop taste to it. I like it.
Huh. Piney, maybe? Piney.
Yeah, piney, but I don't know. It's not super piney. I don't like the super piney beers, and this is get some and try it.
Now, Eric, I can't stay on here much longer because of my extreme sleepiness. Okay, that's a good
I am back,
excuse,
but
'cause I woke up at 2:50 this morning.
So
I want to
let us know your final thoughts then and opinions on your Hurricane High Gravity Malt Liquor.
Yeah, because I'm starting to fade. So
It's all right. It's the beer, right?
The beer and the sleepiness.
But what do you think of that Hurricane High Gravity?
But I recognize what's happening.
Today, this very day, what would you rate it?
I take that as an insult that you said it that way.
Every review's a new one. Come on.
I would give it a B plus. I think it's better than just a B, but I would be cautious to drink it. And it's the kind of thing that if I buy it twice a year, that's more than enough. So I'm not going to go running out and buying Hurricane High Gravity. Okay. But I would go out and buy King Cobra, except that it's gotten so popular over here. The price ain't that nice. I want to show y'all what's coming up in a few days, but I plan to review this tomorrow.
Oh, the Louisiana Beer Reviews channel of YouTube.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
$1.59 for the 32-ounce bottle. Just FYI.
What?
Here. So
What?
pretty. $1.59, but for the 32-ounce bottle of King Cobra in my area, it's pretty cheap here.
That's good. That's a good deal.
Yeah, it's $2.29 for a 40-ounce, I think.
Pretty good. What you got there, Jay, coming up?
$1.99 here.
Tomorrow, after I broil, you notice I said broil, some eggs and Armor treat with some chopped onions and basil leaf.
All right.
Nice.
But I probably won't eat breakfast till about 4:50. but I have Dogfish Head Indian Brown Dark. Now they call now they call it a dark IPA, right? It's a dark. But I've got this coming up, and it's 7.2% alcohol, and I just want to drink it right now, but I'm going to wait.
That'll be a treat.
Jay, you'll like
All
it.
right.
I've had it. You'll like it.
Oh, it's
Hey, Jay.
Dogfish Head is the bomb. What?
John Walker's got a question.
So, you'll probably really find this funny. Today, in a cooler, I found a 40 of Bud Ice with the date that said 17139. That's the Julian.
Wow.
How old is that beer? How old is that beer?
That's early 2017, and they need
That
to.
puts it around middle of May, I think. End of May.
That means a lot of people's career needs to go in to the junk
Retirement.
We did with John Anele. He was there on the
I'll put it
review.
this way: it wasn't my store that I found it in.
We did it with John Anele
It's-
on Friday night. We did a review of Sierra Nevada beers on his channel, and I recalled that the store that I went to try to buy Sierra Nevada beers on Friday night, they had 6-packs with packaged on dates of Sierra Nevada Pale Ale from June 2017.
Yikes!
See, that's the problem right there. People need to roll right there, because it's a damn shame that you're gonna allow beer to sit there since June. Think about it. We're in January. Today's the last day of January 2018, and you're talking about June of 2017. Up until that time, that we did the review. How in the hell is that possible?
Jean, I
People
can do
cannot be that darn lazy to to rotate beers. All about is rotating it.
Jean,
Yeah, I agree.
Jean, I could do a rant and rave with you right now, because I went to the store today at Food for Less, or if you want to call it Food for Even. I went there.
Made for more store.
Yeah, I went over there. I went over there today, and they had Milwaukee's Best Ice, which I wanted to buy. But you know what the best buy date was? January 29th. Well, as you might have noticed, today is January 31st. I told them, I said, this beer is out of date. And I said, but I'm going to buy it anyway because I want the 30-pack. And then the lady's like, oh, no. Then the lady said, oh, no, we're not going to sell it now. I said, what are you talking about? She said, we're not going to sell it because we're going
They
to
should have sell it to you for 20% off.
No, she said they refused to sell it because they're going to tell the Miller people they want a credit. I said, okay.
You know what? In that situation, normally with distributors, if the salesman lets it go out of date, and it's the salesman's fault for not swapping it, because within 30 days, you can send it back to the distributor, and they can send in fresh beer for a credit. If
Right.
they don't,
That's why they refused to sell it to me, because they said they wanted to get their credit.
they can't get the credit now. What's going to happen is the salesman have to go in there and buy it from them.
So they lied.
Yeah, they're not getting a credit. The salesman has to go in there and buy it.
But I gotta know now that John Pierre is getting all worked up. How does that Genesee Ice treat you now?
That's why he's getting worked up.
No, but it's a valid complaint. It's not getting riled up. It's a valid complaint.
Yeah.
You're right, Lance. You're right.
All of us would agree we want fresh beer.
Damn it.
That's
Hey,
what-
If the beer's out of date, give us a credit, or maybe sell it at least for half the price, or maybe 10% off the price.
What does the code on your Genesee Ice say?
Let's see. It says, okay, hold on.
What's the first letter?
He's looking.
LO87.
That was made in December.
Very good.
November.
That was made December.
They skip I, so M would be December.
Wait, what? Oh, did they start at B?
They skip I, the letter I.
LO87.
Okay, yeah.
111729.
Because Corona, Group of Modelo uses I.
Yeah.
Genesee,
right.
they skip
Well, look,
the I. 'cause
I'm
M
out of
would be-
here. I'm out of here, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but
Next.
I'm tired. And let me say this before I get off.
Y'all
There's-
going down to Louisiana here?
Please don't insult my.
Continue, Jay.
Please
Continue,
don't
Jay.
insult my culture.
I think
Now-
I'm in trouble.
Swamp people.
That's
Oh, that was bad.
Betsy Buckingham from 1981.
Yeah, good song. I like that.
But anyway, what I'm trying to say is Modelo Negro, Grupo Modelo finally admitted this past week that the Corona Familiar is a separate recipe.
Corona.
Wow.
From Corona.
Yeah, and it's a higher ABV. It's 4.8.
I always knew that. I always thought that these beers were
Damn it.
different.
Oh wow, I'm shocked. I had no idea. I've always thought it was the same beer, and it just tasted different because it was in the brown bottle.
The
So-
brown bottle versus the clear bottle.
No,
Right.
and now coming to a town near you soon, they're going to come out with 12-ounce brown bottles of the Corona Familiar.
Oh hell yeah!
Woo.
I'd rather
You
have the big bottles.
You can check me. You can check me if you want, because you can go
Cheers,
look at their
John.
website. You can go look at their website. All right.
Jay, before you go, tomorrow I'm going to be seeing Giant Space Monkey. I'll send your best.
Oh, tell Giant Space Monkey I said hello, and I would love to go back to New York and visit with y'all.
You're welcome. You're welcome anytime.
Next.
But I would love y'all to come to Louisiana, I might add. All right.
Next Wednesday, we're going to do craft lagers.
Oh, Lord. All right.
Take care, Jay.
I
Cheers.
know which one I will do.
All right, y'all
Yingling
take care.
traditional lager.
Craft
You
lager.
too, Ron. Cheers.
Y'all too. I got to do a
Technically, okay, he left. Technically,
It's not a
Yingling.
craft beer. It's not a
Well, I was going to say that technically it's being considered by the amount that they brew a craft brewery, but we got to get to John H. Pierre here. He's going nuts live. Well, what's your final?
I'm just enjoying the review, guys.
I know you're good. You're doing so well. I want to
I
get
haven't
back
had
to
a
you.
laugh in a long time.
I want to get
I've
back
been
to you.
sad. I've been sick,
I
and
wanna
then
get-
I'm feeling good. So
I want to get back.
Jonathan, that's Star Hill from Virginia.
Yeah.
This
I
is
haven't had that one yet.
this is the new spring seasonal. We just got this in the at the warehouse a few days ago. It's got a packaged on January 22nd.
Okay, now you have a tall beer size. Finally, there you go.
Well, it's called Front Row Golden Ale, 4.9%. This light and refreshing beer is the perfect balance of honey malt and Cascade hops for a smooth body and a clean finish. Sounds like a good beer. Let's open it.
Bet you John Pierre would like that one.
yes, I would. And what's the ABV on that, Jonathan?
4.9.
Okay, that's not bad. I mean, it's a little.
Call me John. You can call me Jonathan, but don't call me late for dinner.
And what style is it again?
A gold nail. Damn, that's good.
That's like a golden ale from Belgium.
Star-
and stuff?
Star Hill. It's a brewery up in. You know where Charlottesville is in Virginia?
Yep.
Yes,
Oh,
I do. I know about Charlotte.
Mountains, that place?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had one of their beers once. I think it was a winter ale.
Yeah, Crozet is probably 20 miles to the west on Interstate 64.
When I lived in the Tidewater area from 2001 up until 2005, I would make trips up to that area to Lynchburg, Christiansburg, Virginia, and beautiful mountains. Some really great things up there, and some great wines. When I was drinking wine before I decided to go half on wine and beer, but
A lot of the vineyards up there, and don't quote me for this, but apparently a lot of the vineyards up there have grapes that were brought here from Thomas Jefferson brought them in. I don't know. Don't quote me.
Over in Monticello, they moved them there then, I'm assuming.
Monticello.
Yeah, Monticello. A lot of the wine industry came from him, I think.
Oh, okay.
Dang.
But it sounds believable.
so of all the states, a state that I would not mind moving back to, I probably wouldn't mind moving back to Virginia.
Virginia's all right.
Yeah.
Health insurance got really expensive.
It's closer to my folks up in New Jersey because I could take Highway 13 up to
Door, be right back.
All right.
All the way up to Cape May.
yeah, straight up to Cape May, go all the way up to the Delaware, on through Maryland up to Delaware, up to NJ to go see my folks. So, you know.
All right. Here we go. As John Walker sips on that beer and thinks about that for a little bit, I don't believe, but we heard a lot from William Kepley this evening. I want to know how I know some of these beers are really not that fancy, but some of the non-fancy beers usually can come in pretty bigger varieties of sizes. So I want to know where William Kepley is at the moment with his Foster's Premium Lager.
I make a comment about the beer dates. I recently saw a Keystone Light Lime can on the cooler.
Keystone Light Lime?
2015.
Yeah, I actually saw that in the store a few weeks ago.
This was 2.5 years old, and it was still on the shelf. I brought it to the attention of the clerk, and he gave it to me for free. Pour it out.
Good.
So you could pour it out.
I'm looking
Yes,
at
I can
that.
pour it out.
What
But
is that?
that has long been discontinued.
I've never heard of that beer in my life.
Yeah, I've got the
Wow.
Keystone Light Lime.
Huh. Interesting. But how's the Australian beer?
I would,
going?
for style, I would probably put this at a B+ rating. I think it's better than average, and like I said, maybe it's low expectations, but I thought it was pretty credible for the adjunct lager style, and I would get it again. And the hops, they use the Ringwood hops. They use the
Pride
extract
of
from it.
Ringwood hops.
It's only produced in 2 farms in Australia.
Dang it, Sean! What you doing, man?
Sorry.
And this beer is produced alongside all the other Miller products at their Fort Worth facility. So that refutes the notion that all these beers are the same. This definitely has its own particular recipe, aside from the Miller, High Life, and all the other ones they brew there at the Fort Worth brewery. So,
so William, I have a question. So basically, they're using the same base for the recipe and is adding stuff to make certain different stuff than what you're saying.
I'm not privy to that information. I'm just saying that this is distinctly different from the stuff that Miller Coors that they brew because this is brewed in, it says Oil Can Brewery on the side of the can. It's brewed in Fort Worth, Texas at the Miller facility.
Oh, okay, I misunderstood you. My fault.
Yeah.
As they call it on the
to
can,
it.
they call it Oil Can Breweries.
Right. But it does have a distinctiveness to it, which separates it from some of the other, ones they brew at that particular facility.
Which one do you have, blue can or the green can?
I have the blue lager. I actually have both right now, but I brought this one tonight.
I think I preferred the ale last. It's been 4 years.
I think the ale is pretty good too, but and it is May 19th date on it.
Yeah, that was all Miller Coors products have 120 day on them.
Yeah.
So that's not so bad. No. So you would recommend that beer, but that's not a beer that you would buy all the time.
No, I would recommend, though, if someone likes this particular style, the adjunct lagers, to try it. You might be surprised, as I was. I thought it's better than I anticipated.
So, all right. Excellent. So let's go to random panelists to the left. Yeah, sure. You're random. Lance DeLush, where are you at on final thoughts and conclusions of Ice House from the Plank Road Miller Brewing Company?
I'll be honest with you. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's like I said, it's really smooth when ice cold.
Yeah. Don't recommend when it's warm, room temperature or above. I don't. Not room temperature above, anything ever above 36 degrees. It's good. I would actually dare cooking with it.
Why? Push came to shove.
What would you cook with that beer?
Honestly, I'd probably keep the chicken.
Beer can chicken, all right.
And I would say if you want cheap thrills that night,
drink Genesee Ice. Oh,
now I'm talking real cheap. I mean, this is probably the way to go. Like I said, find at your local Circle K's across America, probably around $1 each. Yeah. You know, the coffee's around the same price, but hey, you want the alternative? Here you go.
All right. Well,
is that a house phone?
That might be Michael Komarov's.
Okay, 1 second. I'm good. I would give mine a 91 rating, which I guess in my thing is an A-.
Yeah, that's what I would say. Yeah.
And I would buy it again.
Yeah, the first time I ever had that beer, I was kind of, I don't want to say floored by the beer, but, I think you give it a fair rating for what it is. It's definitely a step up in the craft beer direction with the trends of IPAs these days. What's a pale ale?
But
Is
I
it
am
a
also
Is it
it's from
beer?
Maine. It's from
Maine?
Maine.
Oh, that's right, Maine. Okay.
But
Portland,
it's
Maine.
funny. Peak Organic, which is the company that brews it, I guess at this point doesn't have a facility, so they're brewing at Shipyard.
Oh, really? I didn't know that they didn't have a facility.
Oh, they're being contract brewed?
Maybe they just brew this one there. Maybe they brew.
I don't have my feeling was that they're not a contract brewery, but they might do that one there at Shipyard for a certain reasoning.
And all their ingredients are certified organic.
And that's why our buddy Tyler Mansell would love to try Peak Organic. He's always told me that he would love to get some Peak Organic. So maybe one day it'll show up in Wisconsin for him. I don't know.
It's here in
By the
Virginia.
way, Tyler was able to try his first 6 Point beer over the weekend, and he went berserk.
He loved it.
Eric, of all the
Yes.
beers brewed in the New England area, which one is the least expensive? I think I know the answer, Narragansett. Is there anything else besides Narragansett?
Well, to go Jay Terry out on your ass here for a second. Most of the core beers of Narragansett are actually brewed in Rochester, New York.
Okay.
They do have it's called It's About Time, which means it's about time they started brewing back in Rhode Island. They have an IPA. That's a really tough question because New England's got such a rich history of beer brewing and a rich history in the craft beer scene over the last 30 plus years. Really cheap. We're saying craft beers or any kind of beer?
Any kind of beers.
I think, actually, maybe speaking of Michael Komaroff and his Shipyard brewed beers, even though sometimes the Shipyard beers, as angry as you got there a little while ago, Shipyard beers can sit on the shelves and get old fast. Shipyard Brewing Company actually has some pretty cheap beers you can get for under $8, $9 a 6-pack. I wouldn't say they're the craftiest thing under the sun, but they do some IPAs and double IPAs and some Imperial pumpkins and blueberry beers. But for their core beers, like an Export Ale or a Chamberlain Pale Ale, they're usually under $8 or $9 a 6-pack. So those are probably some of the cheaper craft beers. But you got to be careful with Shipyard beers because even still to this day now, I'll see 6-packs or 12 packs of Shipyard Export Ale, and even single bottles that will still say December 2016 on them.
Ooh, snap!
And I reviewed those beers when I got them in a variety pack, and they taste like movie theater popcorn on the ground.
Oh,
that's
pretty
not
bad.
good.
It's got that diacetyl butter flavor to it. So yeah, Shipyard's pretty cheap. A lot of your New England style IPA companies are not cheap. Michael Komaroff drinks one of the cheaper ones you can get at a beer store in that style.
Liquid penicillin.
Yeah, basically. So, while I'm talking,
at least it will help you beat the flu.
Yeah.
maybe if it doesn't give you food poisoning.
Did Jonathan get the base 6 Point beers, the crisp, the other 6 Point beers, the resin, and some of where he is?
Me?
Yeah.
Yes.
I know I can get the resin.
I'll
I
put
can
that.
tell you tomorrow morning when I walk into Wegmans at 6 a.m.
Take a look and
I
see
can only
if they
think about
have
the resin right now.
I'll put that on the list of ideas. Maybe we can do a 6-point beer.
The question is if everybody can get a hold of it or not. I can get a lot of it.
Is the resin that good?
Yeah, it's
excellent.
Good, but like I can get it here. I can walk down the street and get it, but it's me. It's just an every now and then thing. Unless I know we're doing a big review on it.
Tyler gave it a 4.8 out of 5.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, I like it. And they do an
IPA or is it like a?
It's a double.
No, it's pretty good.
It's a double, 103 IBUs.
How can you go over 100?
It really doesn't. You can't taste it over 100.
Yeah, over 100.
Over 100.
over 100.
You can't. Your taste buds can't read it over 100.
Yeah, but they also make a unfiltered version of the resin called the Puff. And when a Jordan from Massive Beer Reviews, or I keep saying Massive Beer Reviews, when Jordan from Reviewing Under Influence out of Alberta, Canada, he came down from Alberta to Boston in May to do the Trillium Beer Run and to go try some brewery beers from New England and Boston. He actually stayed over my place here, and we went and saw Metallica at Gillette Stadium. So that was pretty cool. We went to the beer store, and we got a whole bunch of, as he called them, juicers, and we did a lot of tailgating with some juicy IPAs. And before he left and went back to Boston, he bought a 4-pack of Puff, or the Puff, which is a unfiltered resin, and he gave me that beer. It was pretty good. It's not quite like a New England thing. I think it's more like a hybrid between the New England kind of juicier stuff and the West Coast kind of a piney resin, oily hop kind of a flavor. But the beer, I know that John Walker didn't actually see this one, but the beer that I'm going to give my overall ratings on was a 24-ounce can of Asahi Dry. There you
Super
go.
dry.
Yeah.
That's not even bad.
And definitely I'm going to say what I did throughout the course of the evening, which is it's right in between in body and mouthfeel of Bud Light and Budweiser. Again, for me, it's not as dry. Well, let me say it this way. It's not as sweet and adjunct in its nature of the rice as Budweiser is, but it's certainly got a bigger body than the Bud Light does. I think it fits right in between those two beers in its mouthfeel. It's definitely a light mouthfeel, though, but it's definitely heavier than Bud Light. It's just so, as it's not really warmed up too much, but because I have a wine bottle sleeve over the can, but it's just got this light, white bready malt to it, a little bit of light lemon. It does have the crispness of a rice beer. There's a little bit of this, I don't know if it's minerally or metallic, Jean-Pierre. I don't know if it's minerally or metallic in taste, but I'm getting that kind of a well water thing from it. That could be the can. It's just, light and inoffensive and not very hoppy. But again, if you want to be in the middle of the road between, it's 5%, so you can drink it like a Budweiser or with ABV, but it has more of the mouthfeel and the body of a Bud Light, just a little bit more amped up. So, I mean, it's really the same. Bud Light for me is a lot more dry than this, but it's not quite as sweet as any of those beers. So if you like that style of beer, but you want it to be a little bit drier and not quite as sweet, Asahi Dry is good. It's an adjunct beer, so what would I actually rate it? I mean, I think it's it's probably for what it is as a beer overall, it's probably like a C+. I think this actually, now that I drink it, is definitely a step up from a lot of adjunct lagers. Even though it's brewed in Molson under the supervision of Asahi, I think this is a more favorable style for me than some of the more sweeter adjunct beers from America and Canada. Although I guess I would probably drink a Pabst Blue Ribbon, a Schlitz, Miller High Life over this beer. But if I wanted the light beer drinkability and the 5% ABV of a normal kind of a American adjunct lager, I would choose Asahi. And I would definitely choose this because it even kind of has a similar drinkability to Rolling Rock, but with the 5%. So it works for the American beer drinking community. And I think this beer was, I don't even have the price on. I think it was $1.99 maybe. So it's all right. Very, very, very light and dry. So any of the adjunct notes of some of the rice in the beer and some of the grains, they just don't stick around that long. It's like a really good IPA where it can have such a drying sensation so fast that it doesn't leave much in the mouth. So maybe there is a little bit to be desired with Asahi, but it's doing what it's supposed to do.
Okay.
No bones about it. But let's see. Jonathan Walker, where are you rating your... Oh, no, John Anile. We'll get back to you, John Walker. Did you rate your... you rated your beer, is that correct, John Anile?
No, not yet.
Let us know.
I would give this, I mean, for a malt liquor, this is about as good as you're going to get. in the regular malt liquor category. It is a little bit higher. It's right at 6%, but it's still not high gravity. It's crisp, it's clean, it's refreshing. It has a dry finish. It doesn't linger at all, so you want to go in for another sip afterwards. It's the perfect beer to drink when you come home from work after a long day like I did. You just want to crack something open and drink it. You don't really want to think about it. You just want to enjoy the beer that's in front of you without getting too, contemplative about it. And this would be a good beer to do so with. My overall rating would be for the style. I would give this a solid A. I'd put it right at 95 out of 100.
Okay.
Wow. All right. Well, we have one panelist left, and he had a couple of different beers this evening. Let's hear about the Two Hearted Ale and the Star Hill Brewery Golden Ale from John Walker.
Bell's Two Hearted. It's so good.
It is. It's a very good IPA.
Over a 90. It's over a 90. It's just
there you go.
It's so
A+
solid.
rating all day, son.
No, it's so solid. It's not like the most exquisite thing you can pick at, but if you know what I mean. But I just want to say this: if I was doing this the whole ice beer, cheap beer thing, I would always go Colt 45 just because it was solid. A 40 in. It's 5.6%, and I always try to rep Colt.
But I mean, when I think tall beers, and probably everybody else was sort of thinking that too. Maybe not Michael Komarov, because he's the craft beer guy, and typically I am.
Oh, a tall beer?
But that's what you think, right? You kind of think a cheaper, mass-produced beer and a taller.
My original plan was to find something craft, but I just ran out of time, so I just got this,
Oh. But again, that's what you think. You think a big, tall can or a bottle for a cheap amount of dollars.
I mean, I wasn't going to pay $15 for clown shoes. I was going to think of something.
I don't even do that. I live in Massachusetts.
I was going to get one of those big Founders all-day IPAs. It comes in a
19-ounce can,
19-ounce can.
That beer doesn't do much for me.
19.2.
It's kind of bland. The Founders All Day IPA, it's a bit bland if you ask me. I've had it. I was like, it's all right for an IPA, but it's kind of
John. It's a session IPA. It's only.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just.
Michael, it just whatever it is, it just didn't do anything for me.
Okay.
Tyler,
that was just me on it. I thought it was good, but I just thought, okay.
John Walker also had a
the front row.
Yeah, the Star Hill or whatever it is there, the Golden Ale. What would you rate that?
That's cool. Very biscuity malt, sweet. It kind of tastes like a Schlitz regular beer in some respects.
Schlitz.
It's because they have
that road.
The Cascade hops.
When you're out of Schlitz, you're out of beer.
Yeah, I'm out of beer.
Exactly.
Oh no, I got the Schlitz.
You got the Schlitz.
I got the Schlitz. Oh god.
The Schlitz shits.
Yes.
And they still say to this day.
And if you drink enough Budweiser, you get the Bud Muds.
I feel like I walk on the Bud Mud. Yeah, I don't know. It's no frills, good beer. I like it. Pretty solid. I've got another Star Hill beer in there that was given to me at the distributorship. It's an amber ale. I'm about to try that next.
Huh. Interesting. But final thoughts on tall beers. Anybody can chime in on that.
Gotta have them. Great for parking lots before a game or a movie.
I agree with that, Jonathan. It's I mean, tall beers. I mean, like tonight we ran out of time and just want to get blasted fast. It's the perfect tailgate beer. It is.
Like a Friday or Saturday night after a Tyler Mansell review? No. That never happens, right, John Anele?
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I plead the fifth.
All right, good.
No.
Maybe John Pierre should join that.
Well, let me just say, quickly, I just think that these beers are very inexpensive. They're good, and like you say, whether you be at you're tailgating at a football game or at a concert,
At a tailgating at a restaurant. What?
At a rave.
Well, I don't know about tailgating at a restaurant, like some Italian restaurants say, "Hey, who is this gentleman over here? He's drinking the beer. What kind of ruffian this is? Who is this person
they
over
all might
there?"
come outside and join you. You never know.
Probably so. Maybe it was a bottle of Cabernet. He'd be like, "Yeah, come on, man, I'll join you. Sure."
Bottle of red, bottle of
Yeah,
what?
bottle of red, bottle of white. Let's have a good time tonight. So yeah, whether it be a bottle of wine, Carlo Rosie, or maybe Crackling Rosie, as the song by Neil Diamond, or even a beer, whatever it is, you're drinking 16 ounces, it's inexpensive. You're at a tailgate, whatever it is, you're enjoying yourself, you're having a good time, and that's what these beers are for, Like I said, my beer that I have tonight, Genesee Ice, is not world class, but it does the trick. What it does is inexpensive. This was $2 for the can of this beer. This is my second can I'm having tonight.
Woo!
And 5.5% ABV. I don't know what happened if they lowered the ABV on this from 5.9 to 5.5, but very enjoyable, very reasonable, and easy drinking. It's sort of lower tier compared to the top ice beers, like Ice House, Bush Ice, Natty Ice, Old Milwaukee Ice, Bush Ice, or whatever.
Bush Ice.
Keystone Ice. It's decent to me. And will I get this again? Probably not always, but it does the trick. So.
What's I'm curious because I am drinking an Asahi Dry, and I like the adjunct lager kind of a style and the macro kind of beers as well. But I'm also a craft beer fan, so I know Michael Komarov has an opinion on tall beers. What's your opinion on this whole topic tonight?
The main function they serve for me is I do a lot of beer tastings, both here and I travel to different places. So they work well when you do like bottle shares. Like if you're going to a beer tasting and you have to bring something with you, you bring that larger can or bottle and more people can try it, which works out. So it helps in that way too.
Now I have a question, Michael. Like in that situation, let's say you put a bunch of beers in front of you like a flight, and it's mixed in a blind taste. Like, will you be able to tell the difference?
Yes.
Okay.
But I'll tell you how we do it. We don't do it all by one style. We're just rating the beers according to their individual.
Oh, okay.
Just according to what people brought for the evening. Is that right?
What people brought and what I had. But it's interesting in the winter time. I do a lot of imperial stouts and a lot of.
Oh, you're like me. Go to
beers, and you have to be careful because with the higher ABVs, and you're dealing with both males and females, you have to be. People can get pasted without any trouble. But you deal in a larger group of people, and they're getting less ounce per beer, and it doesn't turn out to be as much. If you know what I mean.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So even if you're drinking a 22-ounce bomber, when you split that up among 10 people, that's only 2.2 ounces each. And maybe the females drink less than that and the males drink a little bit more, but it averages out.
Oh, okay.
So you're getting more than a sip of it. You're getting 3 ounces, and that's enough of a taste if you're doing 13 in the evening. Kind of thing.
So
they're not all imperial stouts. I do Berliner Weisses, Heffen, wheat beer is involved.
Hefeweizens.
I'm trying to think what else is in the one tomorrow. I have mostly stouts and imperial stouts, though.
Excellent. Sure.
And I do, after I finish doing it, I do put it on Beer Talk 2018 so you can see a picture of it.
I've seen those.
If you have any questions about what did well, I put the where they placed according to our figures, and like I mentioned, Giant Space Monkey, who's a friend of mine and who Jay knows when he came up to New York, he's going to be coming over. This is the first time he's ever come over for a group one.
Ooh.
He's only done ones with me, and he's coming over to meet all my friends.
Oh, okay.
Excellent. Cool.
I think we might way up to Brooklyn here sooner or later then.
Yeah, I'm telling
you have to come and visit.
Let's do it. Yeah. We got William Kepley. What's your whole thoughts on tall beers and the examination topic of tall beers?
I think tall beers might, among some people, have an image problem, more quantity over quality.
Mm-hmm.
But they also represent good value for the guy who just wants an average beer. So they have their place, and I think they always will have their place.
Yeah, working man's beer, yeah.
That's right. And, like I say, the value proposition, and if you're getting one from one of the major breweries, you're not getting undrinkable trash. I mean, they're pretty good for what they are. So I would give a thumbs up to the tall beers.
I agree.
Beers. These are the NBA beers.
I think one of the cool things about this topic is that you can get any, like a macro type beer, like the King Cobra, but you can also get a lot of the craft beers in, I've seen a lot of craft beers in 32-ounce bottles. And the thing about the tall cans or bottles is you can buy a single, so you don't have to commit to a lot of the beer. So you get to try more beers. And, and if you don't like it, okay, well, you bought one beer. You spent anywhere from $2 to $8 to even $10 for some, or more for some of your craft beers, but you only bought one bottle. So if you don't like it, you just don't have to buy it again. So it allows you to try more beers, which I like.
You're right. So that, unless we have any other comments for the evening, I don't think I've given my comments about any of that. So for me, I'm kind of like a lot of folks here where I typically associate, and that's kind of where I went with that, but you can kind of associate a tall beer as being any bigger bottle of beer. It could be a Cork and Cage brewery beer from the Goza series that John and Neil loves. It could be anything. It could be a giant growl. You could have brought a 64-ounce growler, and that would have been a tall beer. I don't advise you drink that whole thing unless it's Friday night, for God's sakes. But
yeah, don't be my general chat. That'd be bad.
Yeah, you'd be asleep in your own chat.
Yeah.
But they do represent in the two different things. Number one, in our macro beer sense, they do represent great value, and as John and Nele said, you don't have to spend the money to get a 6-pack or a 12-pack and have all these beers left around if you don't truly like it, and you're able to try more varieties. And like Michael Kormaroff said, and I totally agree with that on the craft beer kind of perspective. For me personally, I love the idea. I love to share. I'm not a beer snob in which I buy all the beers, I hoard them for myself, and then make fun of you for drinking, I don't know, Ice House beer. I like to share beers with people, and I like to share that experience, which is why I love doing this interactive experience here on YouTube. But I like to share beers, and especially when they're craft beers, they can be higher ABVs, or I just want to, have a good beer and share with friends while playing pool, playing Wii Sports, playing the guitar, hanging out on the weekends off air with the YouTube community, getting weird. I think it's good. I think it's fun. So just keep it fun, keep it light, don't keep it too serious. And again, have fun with the whole thing. The whole idea of a tall beer is to have some fun, for God's sake. So let's have some fun. Let's not get involved in all the YouTube BS that's in beer. So unless...
I'll preach to that.
And I will finish out the examination with that. We got 9:01 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Next week, craft lagers.
Any craft lager you want. Now, Asahi Dry, not craft lager. Bud Light, not a craft lager.
Do you want to see, Eric? Do you want to see my next week's craft lager before you go off?
Sure. An India Pale Lager, craft lager.
So IPLs do count then.
Anything brewed with a lager yeast is fair game. I got a very dark beer. Oh, there he goes. I got a very dark beer for the craft lager review.
Well, maybe he should show it to you off air so we're not spoiling next week's.
He wants to.
All right, spoil it. What you got next week? Before we go off air.
This is from a company that only makes lagers.